Hello, welcome to the Patient Safety Congress 2018. Now you know how this is going to go. I'm going to say good morning, you're going to mumble something back at me, and then I'm going to do that again. So let's cut all that out and start properly and say good morning everybody. Good morning. See, we're learning already. It's great. So I was tempted to do a David Davis last night and just kind of sit in the bar and chill out, but unfortunately here I am. So thank you for coming to this. I'm Shaun, the HSJ's patient safety correspondent and your chair for the next 2 days. We have put together an excellent program this year. It's my first full year as chair of the Congress, and I hope over the next 2 days you'll see my personal vision for the Congress, which is to make this, unlike some of the more typical conferences that you might be used to, something a little bit more challenging, something a little bit more realistic about the problems that the NHS faces. But also I want this to be something that you get real learning from, something that when you get back to your hospitals, your GP clinics, your district nursing team, etc., that you have an idea to improve care for patients. That's what this is all about. Now, the NHS is held in high regard by the nation. We saw that last week with the celebration of the 70th birthday. And why shouldn't it be? It looks after us from cradle to grave. Universal healthcare is probably the single biggest public policy achievement of the 20th century. But it's not perfect, and we all know that. Things go wrong. Sometimes patients come to harm. And we're all familiar with the statistics. 24,000 serious incidents every year. 400 never events. 10,000 severe harm and death incidents are reported every year. Now, you'll all be familiar with the statistic of the NHS seeing 1 million people in 17 hours. 1 million people in 17 hours. That is a staggering level of demand. It used to be 36 hours, so you can see how demand is rising all the time. Pressure on the service is growing. So all those statistics that I've just thrown at you, they can sometimes feel a little abstract. You know, these are rare events, people say. The NHS gets it right 99.9% of the time, and we're too negative when we talk about patient safety issues. Well, I hope you'll all indulge me just for a moment, because I want to do a little experiment, a bit of audience participation here. So just do me a favor. If everybody, I know some of you have just come in, but if you could all just stand up for me where you are. I'm not going to ask you to do anything too strenuous, and I promise I'm not going to make you speak to the person next to you. But okay, so you're all now, okay, so just take a look around the room. Just those of you at the front, just swivel around, have a look. See the whole room, all these people. You all look fantastic, by the way. Well, remember that statistic that the NHS sees 1 million people every 17 hours, and it gets it right 99.9% of the time, let's be generous. Well, it just so happens at the Patient Safety Congress this year, we have about 1,000 people in the room this morning, which just happens to be 0.1% of 1 million. So when you look around this room this morning, every 17 hours, if the NHS gets it right 99.9% of the time, a room full like this, it doesn't go right for every 17 hours. Every 17 hours, a room this big of brothers, mothers, sisters, children, fathers are being harmed or worse. So sit down for me now, you can relax. So I hope that was a strong visual aid for you about why we are all here. Our job, your job, is to shrink that room. That's what we want to do, right? That's the challenge. That's what I want this Congress to help you to do, to shrink that room full of people that are being harmed every 17 hours. Now, to help you to do that, we've got an absolutely fantastic program. We've got a packed agenda. We've got a whole load of sessions which are full of experts, clinicians, theoricians, if that's a word, policymakers, and patients who are going to talk to you from their perspective about how to improve care. One of the things I'm personally committed to is patient speakers and patient involvement in this Congress. You tell us that they bring you great insight for the Congress, that you benefit from hearing those stories. Sometimes they have hard things to tell us. I'm really pleased that we've got over 25 patient speakers this year, more than we've ever had before. I hope we keep on raising that bar. I have to say a thank you to RL Solutions Limited for sponsoring our patient speakers this year. I do think the patients make a fantastic contribution. Also, please do, when you're going around the Congress the next few days, go and visit our exhibition space, our sponsors who help to keep the costs down for delegates. They are in there. They have solutions to some of the problems we're discussing on our agenda in the next few days. Now, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of advice to you guys. If you haven't already, download our conference app. I know about 2/3 of you already have. I am seriously impressed with this app. It is brilliant. You can do your own schedule. You can see who's attending. You can actually make personal contact privately with other attendees, other people in the room. You can privately message them and start that collaboration, start sharing information, learning from each other. Also in the app is all of the posters that are available to see in the exhibition space. There are some fantastic posters, some really good examples of people making a difference in their organization. But through the app, you can download them and keep them post-event. We're not going to turn this app off, so you can keep this going. So it's a great resource, actually. Also, through the app, you have access to our live Q&A, delivered via Slido, if those of you who are used to that. And it's advice for downloading the app is on the screen now, but through that live Q&A, you can submit questions to the chairs who are on stage. You can vote on other questions. You can make sure the questions you want rise through that table. So, again, really powerful. You can also use the app to vote on the poster competition, which we'll be announcing tomorrow. So I think, I'm selling the app. It is really, really good. It will enhance your experience of the Congress. Obviously, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, I expect to see lots and lots of Twitter conversations during this Congress. I want to see lots of hashtags, and there's already been some embarrassing photographs of me this morning. So by all means, do keep that going. But also, let's share that learning for those who aren't able to be here this morning. And one last thing I just wanted to announce, I'm really pleased about this year. You go to some conferences, and I know it's a complaint people make that they don't reflect the NHS. The gender balance is off. It's all male panels, etc. Well, I'm really pleased to announce that the Patient Safety Congress this year is almost perfectly 50-50 gender balanced. In fact, we've got more women talking today than we have men. And that is something the team have worked on, and it's something I'm committed to. We have a lot more to do on ethnic diversity, but we accept that challenge. But I wanted to be upfront about it on stage this morning and say we have worked to sort that out, and I think we've nailed it this year. We aren't expecting any fire alarms, so if any fire alarms do go off, please exit the building calmly, quickly, preferably behind me. And that's hopefully the last time we'll have to discuss the fire alarms. So just a last plea from me, if I can. My challenge to you is to get involved in the Congress. Don't sit there and think of a question and don't ask the speaker. This Congress will only work if you, the audience, join it. It's not a conference, it's a Congress. It's a gathering of people. We all want the same thing. So let's challenge our speakers. Let's challenge the chairs, and let's get involved in the debate. That's what we want from the Congress. That's what you tell us you value about this event, that it's not the same dull NHS conferences that you go to. And our independence as an organization allows us to bring in some speakers that perhaps you might not hear elsewhere. So I challenge you to get involved. Make this event a great success. So with that, we're going to get underway. I hope you all have a wonderful Congress. Thank you very much.